What is up, fellas? Today is February 25th, 2026, and today I made just over $1,900 day trading. So today I took a loss and then I took a win, and I'm not upset with it. It's just that the loss that I took was very avoidable, and I'm going to take a lot and learn from today because in reality I should have been up a lot more, but unfortunately I did soak a loss before my winning trade. So I'll cover all of that. But before I get into this video, as you guys know, I live trade every single day my model, the SIS system. It's the simplest inversion system in the entire space. Anyone can seriously learn this model. So if you're looking to trade alongside me or learn this model, there's a link in description to model PDFs, my free Discord, all this fun stuff. So that being said, let's get right into the recap. I'm not going to waste any more time. Okay, so this is what I was working with off market open, and I have two draws that I want to point out. We had an unfilled hourly fair value gap to the downside, so we had this below us, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty obvious. We might want to come down and fill that in. But also to the upside, we had this unfilled hourly gap. So I'm like, word, we have conflicting draws. We just took this high. Maybe we want to flip to the downside, fill in this gap, or we might want to come up and fill this in before rejecting. So I'm like, well, I don't really know what my bias is. So I was kind of flustered. I didn't really want to get caught up in any noise. So I figured I'd just let market open and take my play based off that. So this is the 15-minute time frame before market open, and I didn't really have much, like I said. So I was going to wait till one side got taken. And you'll see within the first 15 minutes of market open, we pumped up and we took this hourly fair value gap. So I'm like, okay, two possible scenarios based off of this. We reverse off of this high and we reject towards like this unfilled 5-minute or something, or towards this unfilled hourly below. Or we inverse this gap, keep trading higher, and ultimately end up just being bullish on the day. And then in that case, I'd want to see a retracement and a continuation long. I didn't really care which one. I was pretty unbiased, so just wanted to see that happen. So another 5-minute candle here. You can see we keep trading higher, and at this point, it is 9:45 a.m. And you'll notice if you let price keep playing out, 9:55 a.m., 10 a.m. right here. This is just important because this is when the hourly candle closes. And you'll see we close above this hourly fair value gap. So we inversed it to the upside. So I'm like, okay, most definitely going to be bullish here. Here's a couple things I noticed. Have this bunch of 5-minute fair value gaps to the downside. But if I go to the 15-minute time frame, we are just about to open up this 15-minute fair value gap right here. We could possibly trade into this, see a rejection out of it, get a trade towards the upside. Same thing below. We had this 15-minute much lower than that. On top of that, if I pull out my equilibrium tool right here, you'll see EQ of this range is going to be a lot lower than we were trading at. We were extremely overextended, so I needed to see a rebalance for a continuation long. That's really what I needed to see. If you balance your EQ like that, you'll see it's all the way near market open, or if you come up here, you'll see we have EQ just resting below this 15-minute fair value gap. So I'm like, word, let's see if we can get a play off of one of these gaps. So I'll let two candles play out here. You'll see we start to trade lower, and I'm like, great. What's going to happen here? One more candle. Bang. We trade into this first 15-minute fair value gap. I'm looking for a rotation out of this gap to the upside. We have an unfilled 5-minute fair value gap as a draw. All I'm looking for is an inversion for a continuation long. Consider this to kind of be a rebalance, but we had this 15-minute below. We might trade towards this. We might not. And if I pop over to ES, you will see ES was trading much lower than NQ. We'd almost come down to market open territory. So at this point, I'm like, all right, we have some SMTs. This could be a good enough rebalance. Let's see if we can get a play off this. If I go to the 1-minute time frame, one thing you'll notice, we traded downwards with no fair value gaps. 1-minute time frame, we had nothing. 2-minute, we had nothing. 3-minute, nothing. 4-minute, barely anything unless it's all the way at the top. All we have is this 5-minute gap. I need to see this 5-minute gap get inversed. If we do, I'm assuming we're just going to keep pumping higher. I would look to take a trade based off of that towards this high and then whatever continuation draw we may have towards the upside. I believe it was this high that I was looking to get traded towards. I thought this was pretty obvious high. So this is my draw. I wanted to see a rotation off of this 15-minute fair value gap. And you'll see we start to reject. And I believe it was this candle. Yes, this candle. We inverse this 5-minute fair value gap. So, I mean, ask yourself this. Traded into a 15-minute fair value gap. Reject it. Have a massive SMT with ES, which because ES was much more bearish. And we inverse this 5-minute gap to the upside. The only gap holding us down. I took a long. I literally took a long based off this, and I know a lot of other IFEG traders in the space also took this long. So inverse of the 5-minute, was going to take the trade towards this hourly high, set my stop at the body closure of the first bullish 5-minute candle, and I just was going to go break even at this internal high. And honestly, this looked pretty good. I ranked it like B+. I had really no problems with the setup, but you'll see, unfortunately, within one candle, I just was instantly stopped. My position barely even went green. I was like, fuck, I just lost a lot of money. I was close to a payout, needed a winning day, and just got instantly destroyed. So I was like, all right, I don't really know what's going on. I want to still be bullish. And one thing the problem that I had with this trade was we had this unfilled 15-minute below resting just above equilibrium, which probably also wanted to get rebalanced. And I said this before I even entered the trade, but Turns out it looks like we want to trade towards that despite the massive SMT we have with this gap. So I'm like, all right, I lost. Whatever, so be it. Fast forward, market obviously slows down, but you'll see once we get towards a 1050 macro, we traded into this 15-minute fair value gap within the 1050 macro. If I drop time frames now, you'll notice as soon as we swept this 15-minute gap below, if I go to the 30-second time frame, you'll notice we had a 30-second IFVG right off of that low that was swept. So I was like, okay, I want to see a rotation off of this gap now, considering that this one is a lot more discounted, a lot better of an entry, immediate V-shape inversion off of taking it. I entered long off of this 30-second inversion, considering we still were probably bullish and I wanted to see us trade higher. Was I looking to take a trade towards that massive draw I had higher earlier? No. Did I know we're probably going to bounce from this? Yes. I set my take profit at this internal high, entered on the first inversion that we had, and just went break even by the time we took this high right here. This was all I really needed to see for a little bit of a continuation, bullish bias, obviously. No real problems with this trade. I got a super great fill. I waited for a little bit of a pullback. My fill was like somewhere down here. And this is really all I was looking to take, was just another continuation long. Take profit right there. I thought this was a pretty damn obvious trade. And you'll see 1050 macro was a little bit later in the session, so obviously it took a bit longer to play out. But chopped around, got stuck in some accumulation. I was psychologically losing my mind. It's like fucking the middle of the afternoon now. I'm trying to eat lunch. But eventually this trade did end up hitting take profit. I wasn't even at my computer when it hit. It came up, hit my take profit, and I wasn't even there to see it happen. But thankfully, it did play out, hit my full take profit, and my take profit must have been a little bit lower. But that was a win that I took, which put me, I was down 300 on all my accounts that were super close to a payout. I didn't trade those just because I didn't want to get super out of the day, considering I want to request a payout soon. I took this on some other accounts that I have, and that put me up net positive just about $2,000. But overall, I think we can learn a lot from this trading session. I felt that you have to learn to wait to get those better pullbacks and those more premium entries rather than taking the first one. If it's not ideal, you probably shouldn't be taking it. That honestly wasn't ideal. What was ideal was a retracement back towards equilibrium and that other 15-minute fair value gap. So if there's one thing you take away from today's session is wait for the optimal entry, don't force anything. And despite it being a 5-minute fair value gap, I thought it was fine, but I guess you could say that I forced it and I paid for it, of course. Thankfully, I still was able to catch a win off of the better trade, which is the one that I should have waited for. And if I'd have just waited for that, I'd have been much more green on the day. So that being said, it's a learning moment. Move on. I'm happy. Broke my winning streak, unfortunately, but I still ended up green on the day, so I can't complain that much. So that's all I had for today. Like I said, if you want to live trade with me or learn my model, link in the description to do all that. And I will catch you all in the next trade recap.